Hey guys, welcome back. Do you remember the Robbe Air Trainer 140 which was kindly donated to us by Model Shop Leeds? Well, that's been flying absolutely great and we've been having a lot of fun with it down the flying field, including some buddy box setups and helping some people fly. So thank you very much again for Will and the team down there. However, we thought we'd do something different with it today. We thought we'd upgrade it. So for those of you who've got one of these or a model that's very, very similar, we're going to be taking this from a 3S setup to a 4S setup to see how much difference it really makes. So let me show you the equipment we're going to be using. So first up, a big shout out to Model Shop Leeds. They've supplied not only the trainer but all the equipment to upgrade it as well. So let me show you that now. We've got a handful of different props. We've got a couple of APC props here. And again, links to these will be down below in the description. We've got a 11x7E, E's for electric. And we've got 11x5.5E. And then we've got a super prop, which is also 11x5. So 3 different sizes, 2 different makes, so we can do a bit of a comparison across those. Along those we've got some prop spacers as well to make sure they fit on the shaft correctly. With that we've also got 2 brand new batteries. We've got a 3S 2200 and a 4S 2200 as well, so we can compare the difference of those. But most importantly we've got this little gizmo, and I'll be going over this in a little bit more detail. In a nutshell, this is a multi-function watt meter, battery checker, balancer and temperature monitor. So that's been vital to make sure we're not putting too much strain on the motor or the ESC, and we can measure the amperage we're getting out of the battery. So it all makes perfect sense, I think. So let's get on and get some of this stuff swapped over, run some tests, and then take the plane flying and see what the difference is. So before we start making any changes, just a quick reminder of this model. It retails at £209. There's a link for it below in my description, which goes directly to Model Shop's Lead. It comes ready to go. All you need to do is add your receiver, add your flight packs, and of course your transmitter, but everything else included within it. That's the motor, that's the ESC, the servos, and it also has a flight stabilization system built into it as well. So it really is ideal for trainers. The last time round, I test flew it, and there's a link to that video where we did the unboxing. We assembled the model super quick. You probably do it in about 10 minutes. And we took it out on a really windy day, and it was absolutely fine to fly. And we've been having a lot of fun with it since. So it is definitely a good trainer model, which I recommend, and I'm happy to say that. There is a few little downsides to it, and I covered that in the last video, but nothing major at all. So this time around we thought we'll push it to its limits a little bit more. We'll set up for aerobatic flight, because it does say you can do aerobatics, but on top of that as well, we're going to upgrade the battery in it. So because we're upgrading the battery, we've got to be a bit mindful of what's happening to the ESC and the motor. So the ESC itself can take it, the motor itself can take it, but we've got to make sure we change the prop accordingly so we don't make the motor spin too fast and therefore put too much load through the system and risk damaging the ESC. That's basically what we're doing. So we've got a bunch of props to try, but we've also got a special watt meter where we can measure the wattage coming through the system so we know exactly where we are. So we'll start off first by powering it up on the new batteries. So no changes, just putting a brand new 3S pack in there and then connecting up this watt meter, so we'll have a good look at that to see what we're getting through at the moment. So we will be starting this up in the workshop with the propeller on, which is something I don't normally do. Obviously I want the prop on there so I can measure the true load on the motor. So I'll be extra careful when it comes to that part. Now I've got to admit I've not used this particular watt meter before. I have used one before, but I don't often use them. But this is definitely a good way to do all the different checks. And again, I'll provide a link directly to this if you are interested in checking it out in more detail. But let's unbox it and take a look. Shiny, shiny. Okay, so we don't have any plugs on either end, so we need to fit our plugs, but that's absolutely fine. A few buttons on there as well. So power source one side and then power load on the other side. And of course you've got a balance port as well, because it can also do more than just measure watts. It can be a balance meter and a battery checker as well. So sounds pretty cool. In there as well we've got another lead, which we'll take a look at. What's those ends there? I'm not sure what that is at the moment, but we'll definitely check that out and I'll confirm. And then we have some instructions as well, which I will read through, as I've not used one of these for quite some time, and I've definitely not used this mate before, so I'll check through the instructions, I'll get it connected, and then I'll run through it with you guys. Okay, so we're ready set up here to do some testing. So let me just explain to you what's going on. So first off, we have the Electronics Power Analyzer 2 plugged in. battery will go in this end, so it basically fits in line between, well, yeah, between the battery. So battery go in, and then go straight into the ESC, and everything else is the same. Then come off it as well, I've got the temperature lead just connected and actually taped on top of the 40 amp ESC, which is inside. So yeah, so thing to note, as our kind of baseline, we've got a 40 amp ESC. I'm going to start off seeing what output we get, or what the watts is, what the load is, once we've got the normal 3S battery connected. That's our baseline, and then we'll double check what props on the front as well. So mainly the parameters we'll be playing with are the battery type, as in the size, the capacity, 3S and 4S, checking the watts, and then changing the prop size if we're overloading the ESC too much. Hope that makes sense. Let's get it set up. Okay, so I'm trying to do this the best way I can and also the safest way I can. So I'm well aware I've got the prop on, I'm inside, but I'm well behind it, and the prop shouldn't come off. It's been flown on this model. So like I said, we've connected up here, turn the transmitter on. I've got the standard 3S battery, which I've been flying this on, so 3S 2200 milliamps. And we just, as a baseline, see what we get with the standard setup. So let's connect this in. Okay, so I've got the model. So let's put it onto watt meter mode. And there we go. So you see it's drawing no ampage at the moment. Okay, so let's open this up slowly to full throttle and see what ampage we get at the top here. I've got the back of the aircraft now secured. Okay, so that was peaking at about 32, 33 amps. Hopefully you saw that on the screen there. And that's with the standard setup. So what I'll also do is I'll just check that prop. No, so what I'll also do, we'll just now plug in the 4S battery and see if it goes above that, again, just as a baseline test. Now I'm fully expecting if we up the cells to 4S, we will go past the 32 amps, we'll probably go past 40, which would be too much for the ESC, hence why we need to change the prop. Let's try it. So here we go. Again, same make battery, Optisport 4S 2200s. So it's just the cell count that's gone up. Capacity is the same. Plugging that in. Plane's initialized and the plane is still secure on the stand. Let's bring this up slowly as well. And again, don't really want it to go past 40 amp because it is a 40 amp ESC. And you can see a massive difference there. So that spiked all the way up to, well, way too far. So I shut it down as quickly as possible. So it really it went to about 50, which is too much for the ESC, probably too much for the aircraft full stop. So I think that's a good test though, just goes to show with the bigger battery, as expected, much more ampage going through, hence why we now need to change the prop. So let's take the prop off and have a look at what the current size is. Okay, so the prop that comes with it, let me show you that, is a 12 by 8. It's written just very small print on here. I'll do a close up of that for you, but yeah, it's 12 by 8 basically, so that's what comes with it. So what we need to do, and this might sound a bit strange, but we need to go down in prop size. So the closest I've got to 12 by 8 is this 11 by 7E. So we're going to go down in both dimensions there, and then what we'll also do is we'll try one of these other ones as well, 11 by 5.5, and also this one which is 11 by 5. So they're very similar, those two. So let's try the 11 by 7E first from APC. just for some extra safety, I've decided to move outside rather than inside the workshop. I think that's very sensible. Just as we're now changing the prop over, just make sure that the prop is secure and nothing stupid happens in the workshop. So recap, we've still got the 4S on there, 2200. We're all connected up. We've now got the smaller prop on there, and I'm going to hold on to this. The model is tied down. I'm running out of fingers here, but there we go. So let's see it all now. Let's open up slowly. We can see that's made a huge difference. By just dropping the prop down, we're now only going up to about 38 amps, which is really interesting, which means this would be safe to fly with the ESC. This plane we kind of fly around on 3/4 throttle, only going full throttle occasionally, so it'd be more than fine, but even a full throttle flight should be okay, it's under the 40 amps that the ESC is actually set to. So let's now see what happens when we change the prop over to one of the other sizes. Okay, so same test again. This time we're running the 11 by 5.5E prop, whereas last time around it was 11 by 4. So let's see if we can drop this down further from the 39 amps we saw last time. See if we can get into a bit of a safer area. So model's secure. Holding this up so you can see it. Let's bring up the throttle slowly. Yes, so again we lost a couple of amps there, so this only went up to about 33, 34 amp, and it still felt like it had a lot of pull as well. Now I appreciate it's probably best to try this in the air. Now actually work out, make sure the amperage is safe first, then try it in the air with the props that we know are safe to see how the model performs. But bear in mind this is a trainer and it doesn't fly around full throttle anyway, so I like the fact that it's just a little bit lower. So let's go on to the last prop. Okay, so next up we have the super prop, and this is a 11 by 5 prop. So we just dropped the pitch down very slightly, see if that makes a difference. Now I'm expecting it to come down even further than the previous prop. Let's try it out. So again, all secured again, all plugged in, bring the throttle up slowly with the 4S battery. Excellent, and as expected we're under 30 amps. So every time we've changed the prop down to go for the different sizes, so basically increasing the size in prop or increasing the pitch, we've dropped the ampage. Let's go and conclude. Okay, so I think that was a really useful exercise. Let's just recap on what we did very quickly. So we got a baseline with 3S first and checked what the ampage was and noticed that it was well underneath the 40. We then went straight to the 4S battery with the original prop that the model ships with and saw it peak right over to like 52 amps. Shut it down pretty quickly, so that's far too much for the ESC. And then we started trying different props. So the first prop we tried was the 11 by 7E from APC, and that got it down to 38 amps. So decreasing the size of the prop, so putting a smaller prop on there, also like a decent pitch on it, brought the ampage down. Though it's weird that, isn't it? Because you'd naturally think that you'd want a bigger prop on there, but it's not, it's the opposite. You have to bring the prop size down, and we saw that from our tests. So that brought us down to 38 amps E. And then keeping with 11-inch prop, but just changing the pitch size down from a 7 to a 5.5, we dropped further to 33 amps. So then it was no surprise when we tried our super prop, which again was 11 inches, but dropped the pitch size down by a little bit more, just down to 5. Then we dropped down to, I believe it was 30 amps. So that is a prop that I'm going to try on there. It's a lower ampage, still plenty of space in the ESC if you like, or the ESC takes 40, we're at 30 at the moment. So we're going to go down the flying field now, and we're going to try out this prop and just check out the performance of the plane. Now I'm expecting more power, more vertical, and hopefully the same amount of flight time as well. Now don't forget, this is a trainer. The whole purpose of this exercise is you've learned to fly with the trainer and now you want to go a bit further about investing in a new model, check out 4S setup. Let's go and see it in action. Just wait for the gyro to kick in. Right, left, up, down, right. Okay, 4S. It's definitely much livelier.
I don't trust the backies that come with it for some reason.
So there you go, guys. I think we've proven the point. So there you go.
Remember not to upset you, mate.
Just 1 second, Les. I'm just recording. So there we go, guys. I think we've proven the point that with 4S, it really does liven up this model. So this model can be the ideal trainer, and then we get past perhaps your A certificate, or you want to liven it up, just upgrade it. Small prop like I did, and then it's 4S battery. Cool. Right, bring it around for landing. CFG is going to need adjusting very slightly, just for those of you that are going to try this. There we go, so I think that's a win, guys. So yeah, the battery hatch in fairness was a little bit dodgy, which is why I cut that flight short. So you probably want to have a look at that, maybe take out the wood underneath, chisel some of the foam away just to make sure that battery goes in there securely and the hatch is flat. But as just a concept, you know, going from 3S to 4S, it definitely works fine. Just bring that propeller down, make sure you check it on the meter as well, like we did back in the workshop, and it should be absolutely fine. It really does liven it up. Another little tip that you may want to do as well, if you're going to make this a bit more of a hot rod, is just change the way the ailerons are set up. So take the ailerons out of the gyro, sorry, the flight stabilizer, put them directly into receiver on separate channels, then that will allow you to get more movement from your transmitter. So give that a go as well. Guys, thanks a lot. I'll see you next time around.